Good day, everyone. My name is Adedeji Obadofin, a law graduate of Kogi State University and a current virtual intern at HARLEM Solicitors. This video lecture is made pursuant to one of the conditions to fully round up my internship program at HARLEM Solicitors. In the next couple of minutes, I'll be discussing on the topic a critical evaluation of the NCC Guidelines 2009, also known as the Guidelines for the Technical Specifications for the Installation of Telecoms Masts and Towers. At the end of this video lecture, my listeners should be able to form a clear idea of what the NCC Guidelines 2009 holds. By way of introduction, I would like to start by stating that the major body responsible for the regulation of telecommunications affairs in Nigeria is the NCC, the Nigerian Communications Commission. However, the year 2000 was a very remarkable year after a policy which was introduced under the then regime of General Olusegun Obasanjo came in 1999. The policy which was introduced in year 2000 gave birth or bettered the NCA, Nigerian Communications Act. By virtue of Section 70 of the NCA, a wide range of powers is empowered on the NCC to make or formulate regulations and guidelines, bordering on permits, approvals, and authorizations. One of the guidelines made by the NCC is the Guidelines for Technical Specifications for the Installation of Telecoms Masts and Towers, which I will be evaluating. It is important for my listeners to note that the 2009 guidelines takes cognizance of types and constraints of power structures while being concerned with protection of personnel equipment for the safety of the general public during the installation of telecoms masts and towers, in order to boost and enhance best international practices and to promote sound engineering practices. An infraction of the 2009 guidelines will be deemed to be against the provisions of relevant provisions of the NCA Act, as well as the provisions of the Nigerian Communications Enforcement Processes (ETC) Regulations 2019. It is important for my listeners to also note that the 2009 guidelines provides that the relevant provisions of the guidelines shall be strictly adhered to with respect to the provisions of the Collocations and Infrastructures Guidelines during the installation of telecoms masts and towers for public safety. The guidelines comprises of 7 chapters. Chapter 1 talks about brief introduction to the guideline, the major objectives of the guideline, as well as different types of towers, roof mounts, self-supporting towers, guide towers, and monopole towers. Chapter 2 talks about the designs and constructions of telecommunications masts and towers. Chapter 3 talks about the general specifications for the installation of telecoms masts and towers. Chapter 4 talks about the maintenance and testing of telecommunications masts and towers. Chapter 5 talks about the environmental requirements for the installation of telecoms masts and towers. Chapter 6 talks about the application for permits and licensing during the installation of telecoms masts and towers, while the 7th chapter, the last but not the least chapter, talks about general matters with respect to the installation of telecoms masts and towers. In my critical evaluation, I will be addressing a few sections of the guidelines. By virtue of sections 3 subsection 4 of the 2009 guidelines, installation of telecoms masts and towers in residential areas is permitted. However, such installations must not exceed a permissible height of 25 meters. Where such height is reached, a perimeter setback of 5 meters is allowed. The perimeter setback is to boost or to reduce or minimize the effect of noise and sound disturbance in residential areas. By virtue of section 7 of the 2009 guidelines, installation of telecommunications masts and towers within 15 kilometers of airports and helicopter pads is allowed, but due permission must be taken from the Nigerian Airspace Management Authority, NAMA. By virtue of section 9, subsection 1 of the 2009 guidelines, installation of telecoms masts and towers within industrial and commercial areas shall not exceed 150 meters in height. However, there are certain exceptions where such heights could be exceeded. The exceptions, by virtue of the said section, section 9, subsection 1 of the guidelines, are as follows. 1. That such installation shall not be against public safety and public health. And secondly, that such installation shall not be against the laws regarding the location where such installation is to be carried out, amongst other provisions of that section. By virtue of Section 10 of the 2009 guidelines, installation of telecoms masts and towers exceeding 20 meters must take due permission must or due recourse must be made to the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) before such installations are carried out. However, there are certain supporting documents which must be furnished to the Nigerian Communications Commission before such permission is granted by virtue of Section 10. Such documents include: 1. A site location indicating the particular location, the site location indicating the structure on which the installation is to be carried out. Secondly, evidence of ownership of this particular structure. Thirdly, the coordinates of the particular structure on which the installation is to be carried out. Then fourthly, the site design and detailed information also to be supplied with respect to the particular structure on which the installation is to be carried out. Moving on, the 2009 guidelines, by virtue of sections 9 subsection 11, also provides that lightning in the BTS base transceiver station shall not be directed across rights of way. By virtue of sections 9 subsection 13 of the 2009 guidelines, provides for the tower-to-tower spacing. In this provision, the 2009 guidelines makes provision for the tower-to-tower spacing. That is, the guidelines provides that there shall be at least a minimal space of 1 kilometer between masts and towers exceeding 55 meters in height. But also, by virtue of sections 9 subsection 14 of the 2009 guidelines, this particular provision provides that there shall be no installation of telecommunications masts and towers in close proximity to high voltage electrical equipment. However, if such installation is to be made, such proximity shall be equivalent to 120% of such towers and masts. By way of conclusion, the major thrust of the 2009 guidelines, also known as the Guidelines for Technical Specification for the Installation of Masts and Towers in Nigeria, expressly makes provision for safety measures and procedures to be strictly adhered to in full compliance to the guidelines of the Nigerian Communications Commission, in order to boost and enhance best international practices and also to promote sound engineering practices. I hope this video lecture has been educative enough. However, to check more on our educative content, you can visit us on our website www.harlemsolicitors.com or check us on LinkedIn at HARLEM Solicitors. Thank you so much for watching.